Star Wars, the only story where a man can do unspeakable horrors to an entire population, only for then the woman to fall deeply in love with him almost immediately, and then carry his baby to term.
She can't do that! Shoot her or something!
By the way, there's going to be an announcement at the end of the video, so please stick around for that. It's quite important. But if we shift the perspective away from the Skywalker gang and instead focus on Palpatine, then it becomes a story of trying to overthrow some corrupt, dogmatic monks, succeeding only to then electrocute yourself 3 times in the process.
It's like poetry, sort of they rhyme.
Each time either killing you or turning you into dilapidated ice cream. But to imagine that, let me just put you in his shoes. We're not actually going to cover all of the movies because this video would be an hour long. So imagine for a minute that you are Sheev Palpatine. You were born in Naboo many, many years ago. Unfortunately for you though, you were taken in by some guy who thought naming himself after the bubonic plague was cool and subsequently taught you the dark side of the Force. Surprisingly, you were pretty good at it. Became very strong. But to cut a very, very long story short, the Sith function a bit like a praying mantis, where the young kill the parents because of some dickhead a few thousand years ago decided that you could only have 2 Sith at any given point in time. No, not like praying mantis. You're more like fucked up hermit crabs, where once the youngling outgrows its master, well, it removes the master and becomes the new shell for a new hermit crab until the day that it is then cut down by its own apprentice. And then the cycle repeats itself in almost perpetuity. Yes, that is right. You do in fact spend your time training some guy who is eventually going to murder you, which is apparently fine for some reason. Despite all of the Sith having a circle jerk fetish for power, you guys seem to find the overthrowing of masters to just be par for the course, almost like a badge of honor. In fact, it's such a badge of honor that you train 2 people at one time, Dooku and Maul, all while your master Plagueis was still alive. But there is one thing that you really hate, and that is the Jedi, because they're all corrupt, dogmatic arseholes that try to rule the Republic with their benevolence. But you and this Plagueis guy got it in your head that you should use your immeasurable, and I mean immeasurable Sith powers to try and create life, and to create something that could finally end their rule of hypocrisy. Unfortunately, the Force gave you the middle finger and told you guys to kick sand. Upset, eventually you did kill your master and then elevated Darth Maul to be your apprentice. And not Dooku. Why Darth Maul? Well, because he's a badass and actually has a sick name. He wants to fight and maul people to death. You have all the brain that's needed, not some guy hell-bent on protecting loved ones when he can't even protect himself. Like, your plans actually require strength, like real strength and hatred and like a thirst, not some compassion, love. This is wartime. It's war. Anyway, imagine your surprise when one day you are just minding your own business. You've just convinced the Trade Confederation to blockade Naboo. It's just your normal run-of-the-mill double agent kind of stuff. When these guys actually start coming at you with the back chat.
This scheme of yours has failed, Lord Sidious.
Oh, the game is finished, is it? Is that what is going on here? And then they dare to question the legality of your orders.
My lord, is that legal?
I will make it legal.
Who do they think they are? Who do they think that you are? Some kind of Jedi Knight? No, it's just not like that. It's only illegal if you get caught. And even then, you're a senator. They're all as corrupt as balls either way. All you gotta do is just twist their nuts and we're kinda good to go.
And the Jedi?
Kill them immediately.
And with that, you go back to doing your own thing. They're probably gonna fail. Realistically, yeah, they're gonna fail, which it just cannot be helped. But in the off chance that they do succeed, it will be pretty good. 2 Jedi dead, Mr. Gonjin being one of them. Whew, truly. That would be a good day. Either way, your plans run deep. You've already sent Count Dooku to go create the clone army. Not to mention the Queen of Naboo is... oh shit, she's soft. All you have to do is destabilize an entire galactic government and turn it into an empire. Which, you know, it does require plans within plans. But they do completely fumble. Apparently, with the entire planet there hunting these people, they whiffed and let the Jedi and the princess escape. Like, this is why you want the clone army. You do not want to be working with clankers.
We're independent thinkers. Roger, 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 roger.
Their whole strategy is just overwhelm and force attrition. You need the precision of a lightsaber. Yes, you are using more like a blunt object, but you know, you still need some elements of precision. Anyway, you send Maul to go deal with this because, well, if he succeeds, then well, he's about the only one that has a chance of succeeding. And if he fails, well, you can elevate Dooku. But imagine your further surprise when the Queen shows up in Coruscant, looking like she just stepped out of Memoirs of a Geisha. And to top it all off, they have that Gungan that you originally groomed to be apprentice but decided against it because, well, that was embarrassing, wasn't it? But they even come back with a freed slave. Imagine that. There's a kid right there who was just rolling around in the sand like fucking 5 minutes ago, and now he's rubbing shoulders with the elite of the elite in the Galactic Federation. Must be completely overwhelming for him. But whatever, he's just like a freed slave. Who cares?
The Senate is full of greedy, squabbling delegates.
What you need to do now is just sow more seeds of doubt and chaos. Create schisms. Make her think that this guy, the current Chancellor, is just useless. So easy. Isn't it super duper fun to have this political intrigue in a story about light swords and Buddhism?
We must do something quickly to stop the Federation.
But with the meeting adjourned, you are fully confident that your cheeky little bit of social engineering has worked. And this is why you will always bet on both sides. Because, frankly, you always come out on top. And also, you can then just do it purely for the love of the game, man. You love this game. You love the intrigue. You're like Michael Jordan for overthrowing republics.
A tragedy has occurred, which started right here with the taxation of trade routes.
Anyway, this is why you don't tariff places. What do you? Everyone knows that when you tax trade, people generally don't get very happy with the situation. But you need to make sure a little whisper here, a little whisper there. It's just, yeah, it's good business. You know, and you are just manipulating Amidala. Like, she's just a queen, very young queen. Who cares? I do wonder how she'll feel tomorrow about all of this when she finally realizes what you've done.
Senator Palpatine has been nominated to succeed Valorum as Supreme Chancellor.
But anyway, it works. You get the nomination. All you need to do now is grease a few palms, curry some favors. Well, you know.
A surprise, to be sure, but a welcome one.
But then you find out that the Queen's ambition is to return to Naboo. Now, for all of the things that you had planned, this is certainly not necessarily one of them. It's annoying because it's just an unknown quantity. You did get the nomination, and there will still always be another Queen or King of Naboo to gaslight and manipulate. So, yeah, maybe if it fails, it's just going to slow you down a little bit, but it's not going to, you know, we're talking a long game. So what you do is you get your viceroys to lock down the planet. It's beautiful. If the Queen dies, then the Trade Federation will be under the scrutiny of the Senate, and thus you will have already destabilized the entire government. But you don't want it to happen like that. You need the clone army first, and you do need her to sign the treaty as well. You can't just have her die. Anyway, you send Maul after them.
I'm sending my apprentice, Darth Maul, to join you.
Now, you were expecting something, but what you were not expecting was that the princess would actually look like she wants to fight. You just thought she would go there and cowl.
This is an unexpected move for her. It's too aggressive.
She is supposed to be soft, weak, and malleable, but she's starting to look like she's kind of ruthless and has like even a smidgen of intelligence. So this has now transferred the plan from proactivity to reactivity. You need to see what her moves are first before you do anything stupid. Yeah, it turns out she created an army with the Gungans. You didn't see that one coming, frankly. That's crazy. The Gungans historically were kind of hermits, like a hermit kingdom, and now here they are going on an all-out armada against the clangers. That's crazy. Either way, it's a lovely little war, and it could weaken both sides. Unfortunately, though, it does not go as you planned it to. Actually, your plans get cut in half. But he did get the Gonjin, didn't he? And then you find out that little desert runt, that little guy that was there, that they freed, that slave, is actually the living embodiment of the Force, and took down a separatist ship on his own. Now, at that point, well, That's just crazy. And now you're just thinking, okay. So apparently when you and Plagueis were messing around with the Force and decided to, you know, try and create this being, and well, the Force did it for you. And then, of course, the Force sent Mr. Gon Jinn to go out and find out about it. Well, of course he did. He is like the only Jedi at this point in time who truly listens to the will of the Force and not the will of the Jedi. Like, he truly believed in the Force, not believing in the Jedi. Blah. But with him gone, there is just no one who's going to stop you from stealing this boy. You can just pretend to be the father figure. It's perfect.
We will watch your career with great interest.
And actually, it's confusing because you would have thought that the Force would have made Qui-Gon Jinn win, you know? It makes more sense that way, because if this is the chosen one who's going to bring balance to the Force, why didn't the Force give him to the Jedi? At that point, you have to reconcile the fact that maybe the Force has some plans. But anyway, the Jedi do decide to train the youngling, which is a nice surprise, because, well, you don't have to do any of the training yourself, and you can tell that he is ruled by emotion, compassion, and love, and these are things that the Jedi fucking hate. He actually has a thing called empathy. He knows suffering, pain, and hurt, and he just wants to prevent that. Perfect. Because when people want to prevent pain and suffering, you can just convince them to do anything you want. It's just removing suffering. But yeah, the years pass. Anakin, he does grow up. He becomes quite a fine Jedi Knight, all things considered. Extremely powerful. Great duelist. A bit rough around the edges, but that's okay. It's probably pretty challenging to contain that much force at such a young age. The Jedi are doing a good job, but you are doing a better one. You've already asserted yourself as Anakin's father figure. You're doling out the guidance here and there. You just have to get him to trust you just a little bit. Throw in a few little nuggets here and there. And you also have your newly appointed Darth Tyrannus. Good God, he's an edgy dinosaur nerd. But you two have been hard at work. You set up some things in Geonosis. They are creating this ultimate weapon plan. All you need to do is get your extremely convoluted plans to come to fruition. And also to avoid the suspicion between you and Dooku, you guys use the abandoned buildings in Coruscant to train him. This way, you're always close at hand and you can avoid being seen leaving the planet on the regular because if you did that, they would probably get a bit suspicious, wouldn't they? Anyway, one day, you are meeting with 7 Jedis. Not just any Jedis, not Jedi Knights, Masters. Imagine that. You are one of the most powerful Sith Lords to have ever lived, and here you are, able to sit in front of Master Yoda, Master Polyamory, and Master fucking Purple Lightsaber, as well as 2 other no-names who will be told their names, like, 10 years down the line, and people will probably let me know their names down in the comments.
The dark side clouds everything. Impossible to see.
And, your plans have got Yoda completely shaking in his little booties. You're a little bit rock hard at this point in time. This is such a power move. This is the greatest heist in galactic history. And you are the mastermind who will do it. Plagueis just did not have the stomach for something like this. He was too weak. So you end up having a small meeting with your main boy.
In time, you will learn to trust your feelings.
Again, you throw in these little nuggets, harmless sounding little tidbits that will snowball into something big in the future. The Jedi hate feeling anything except for control. They think detachment is the key to success. But now they are so scared of attachment, they forget that you can have attachments, you can love, and you can care and be compassionate, but not be possessive about it. So when things are over, you just simply accept the pain, cherish the memories, and let them go. That way you are not ruled by suffering, fear, or loss, but by love. The difference between you and the Jedi is that, you are honest about your will to control the Force. Somewhere along the way, the Jedi just thought that pure detachment was just the key to control and success. This is probably just because it's a lot easier to execute. But the Force does not like that. The Force does not will to be controlled. You, though, you understand that attachment is a beautiful thing. You really want everything to be yours, and especially Anakin. Between you and him, you could literally rule the galaxy for 1,000,000 years.
I have said it many times, you are the most gifted Jedi I have ever met.
And again, you just have to throw in a small bit of pride. Make him believe in himself. He can become attached to your praise. And then that way, when the Jedi start saying, oh, he's too prideful, the cognitive dissonance is just going to be insane. It'll break his little mind. But isn't it just deeply ironic how they say that the new Jedis are too arrogant and too sure of themselves when they literally tell these kids from an early age, hey, fear is the dark side, doubt is the dark side, and if you succumb to these these feelings, you're gonna get removed from the Jedi Order. Crazy how that works. No one has that level of nuanced thinking. Maybe Yoda and Qui-Gon, but they're different. So yeah, things happen. The Jedi do actually find the fucking clone army. The droids are in position. Everything is going perfectly. And the Senate is just a stone's throw away from giving you dictatorial powers. And like a frog in the boiling pot, they'll hand you the keys to the kingdoms as if it was their idea. This is how you kill democracy. You slowly get people used to the idea of totalitarianism through subtle little plays. So when you finally pull the trigger, it just seems like the logical next step. And of course you just send Dooku down to have a meeting with the Geonosins, force a little bit of a cheeky civil war. Well, that's just what you need. If we learn anything from the Brits a long time forward in a galaxy far, far away, all you need to do to destroy indigenous cultures is to just give them guns and fight amongst themselves. Then, while they do that and fight in their tribes, you just swoop in and rule them while stealing everything. It's a genius plan that could be replicated in so many ways, even using things like news and social issues to drive schisms. But to be honest, you barely need propaganda to win, just good old-fashioned corruption and manipulation.
The Senate must vote the Chancellor emergency powers. He can then approve the creation of an army.
And there it is. There are the keys to the kingdoms. Seriously, it wasn't even that hard. Just needed to jangle some keys, and the Morans hand it back to you.
If only Senator Amidala were here.
But you know, you didn't have Amidala on hand, you had Jar Jar. And good God, you feel embarrassed that you considered Jar Jar in the past. But hey, at least he's useful now.
It is with great reluctance that I have agreed to this calling.
It was quick. Seriously, you've had longer sessions with a Mos Eisley entertainer. But all you need to do is some weak platitudes. Give them some long spiel about how this is such a terrible blah, 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 blah.
I love democracy.
While inside you feel as hard as the time that you took that Wookiee blue pill. That was savage. You were growling for days. Yeah, so the battle for Geonosis, well, it's good. It's pretty good, all things considered. You actually get the plans for the Death Star. You even get to kill, like, a lot of Jedi Masters, which actually makes all subsequent plans from this point on very, very easy. And the clones have the orders ready to go. The Trojan horse is there. So any Jedis that you lose now are just weeds that don't need to be cut in a few years. And fucking Dooku even gets into a fist fight with Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Yoda, and survives. Good God, what a machine! Thankfully, he didn't actually die there, because that would have made things maybe a bit challenging going forward, because Anakin's not ready yet. It would have been a blow.
The Force is with us, Master Sidious.
But, like, for real, the Force seems to be on your side for some reason. It almost feels like all of this was preordained. It was like destiny or some shit.
War has begun.
Excellent. Everything is going as planned.
Yep. Apparently, you managed to plan for the Jedi's finding the clone army, tracking a bounty hunter Geonosis, find that there were droids there too, and then hand you dictatorial powers in time for you to have a civil war. Truly, you are the greatest mastermind of all time to pull that one off. Anyways, like 3 years passes, how Anakin actually begins to confide in you a lot more, like way too much. Like he tells you all the freaky shit between him and Padme, but he also tells you about he went absolutely savage to a group of Tusken Raiders, which subsequently led to freaky shit with Padme. I mean, you already knew this, like, the dude sent out a Force shockwave so potent, it basically shook everyone at the temple. And what was crazy is he told Padme about this. She dropped her pants. Apparently, you have to reconcile with the fact that these people were like lions or something. Like, when a male comes in, like a new male comes into the Pride, they kill all of the babies, and then all of a sudden the women are in heat. Well, luckily for Anakin, you have just the plan to test that theory. Yeah, so the Clone Wars start, and Anakin is a bit different to how he was in, he's like optimistic, cheerful, and keeps hanging around with that Ahsoka dickhead who keeps trying to lure him away from your teachings and make him into a good person. Ugh. And there was like a whole subplot by Doofus to try and use some alkalites to beat you. I mean, you respect his ambition, but, let's be real, this is the expectation as a Sith. But what you didn't expect was Maul being alive with an apprentice. Like, the rule of two is absolute, yes, and the Siths deal with absolutes. Yeah, the Jedi deal with absolutely no fear and no darkness, but, you deal with more. Even if you did train Maul and Dooku at the same time. Either way, while he begs for mercy, you give him the Kaya treatment.
There is no mercy.
Because all you want is just for him to sit in his place as your ornament. So, naturally, you do what any self-respecting, manipulating, gaslighting god does when faced with a war for the embodiment of the Force. You find a droid who can use lightsabers, you get kidnapped by him, and set up an extremely elaborate scheme to get Anakin to rescue you and kill Dooku. And it works. Okay, this time you're a little bit shocked about how this one worked, because just all of the dominoes that had to line up for this to succeed, it is crazy. They managed to get through the force fields with the ships, make it up in an elevator, and then just actually start duking it out with Dooku.
Kill him now.
I shouldn't.
And my god, Anakin beats Dooku in a one-on-one. Something that apparently Yoda wasn't even capable of doing. Like, at this point, he is the GOAT. Even if Dooku looks to be about 80 years old and is about to drop his second heavy metal album, he's still pretty good at what he does.
Do it.
God, he looks so upset that he just did that. Like, come on, guy. Like, why are you upset?
You did well, Anakin.
He was too dangerous to be kept alive.
So you give him a little bit of encouragement. Make him feel good about being pragmatic. It's what Jedi's like, pragmatism, right?
Yes, but he was an unarmed prisoner.
Did he just say that? He's ruthless. Man, he could be a comedian with such a deadpan joke.
I shouldn't have done that. It's not the Jedi way.
And then he goes on and on and on and on about the Jedi way. Who fucking cares? Like, seriously, who cares? The Jedi would have kept Dooku alive, and then Dooku would have escaped, and then we'd all be back at square one. But now Anakin is ready. He's proved that he is stronger than your previous apprentice. So, the last phase of your plan can begin.
Remember what you told me about your mother and the Sand people?
Tug on those heartstrings. Make him feel really terrible, but also vindicated at the same time. It's that sort of dissonance that gets him primed and ready for his lion moment. But yeah, he wants to drag Obi-Wan, which is... Whoa, honestly, that's kind of annoying. Because realistically, while Obi-Wan is not Qui-Gon Jinn, he still poses a threat to your control over Anakin. He's still an attachment that Anakin will have to, throw away to join your side. He could actually win over his heart. But realistically, you just need to remind him that the Jedi hates that he loves people and has empathy and compassion, and that they want him to feel guilty for those feelings. What follows is probably just the will of the Force in action, because for the first time in your life, you actually feel genuine fear. You planned for something, but you didn't plan for this. First, you fall down an elevator, then you get captured, and then you watch him get into a fist fight with his droids, because let's be real here, there's only one thing stronger than Grievous's cough, and, well, that's his cowardice. But seriously, you'd think a guy that was 99% droid wouldn't cough. And then finally, to top it all off, you crash land on Coruscant. And when you're crash landed, you truly believe that you're going to die. That's a time where you feel real fear. But it's a fantastic story, even if you did poo a little bit. But you did want it to be, a little bit refined, like as a rescue. But whatever works. This story will only serve to inflate Anakin's ego, which is what you need right now. But it's also a good thing that Grievous is such a monumental coward, because otherwise the Senate would actually vote to stop the war. And we can't have that now, can we? We haven't even gotten to the good bit yet. Anyway, you have a little catch up with your 20-pack-a-day best friend. He's a bit sad that Dooku died. You get it, but whatever. But you tell him to get the Viceroys on the move. It's like a game of whack-a-mole. You keep them moving around so that way the Jedi will always be one step behind. But right now you have bigger fish to fry. You have to win the battle for Anakin's soul. And it's so easy to fight this game with the Jedi. It's actually borderline trivial. You force their hand. You put Anakin on the council because in their hubris, they will be forced to accept it, but they will reject it at the same time. And this will make Anakin feel insecure. That is unfair. He has an extremely strong sense of justice, and it's that sense of justice that you can exploit the most because, with the right words, you can justify almost anything.
I'm appointing you to be my personal representative on the Jedi Council.
Me, a master.
And there it is. Hook, line, and sinker. It's just so nice that the most powerful Jedi to have ever lived is just completely unaware of game playing. He just takes everyone at face value. But this does work, and the Jedi snub him. And now he's basically putty in your hands. So, while you're out enjoying some delightful Mongolian throat singing, you invite him to chat. It's time to start testing the waters.
I would worry about the collective wisdom of the Council if they didn't select you for this this assignment.
Yeah, he's snubbed alright. That fragile little ego is going rampant. Thank God he has daddy issues, mother issues, and all other issues under the sun, or this probably wouldn't work. The Jedi practically hand it to you on a silver platter. See, the Jedi think that they are so smart, that their little games of espionage are utterly brilliant. But they are just, frankly, trivial, predictable, and only serve you and your plan because you've already figured them all out, well, years ago.
They asked you to do something that made you feel dishonest, didn't they?
And of course, they would naturally try to exploit your relationship between Anakin and you. And also, like now, to Anakin, you just seem like the most galaxy-brained 500 IQ savant he has ever seen. And you don't think Anakin could comprehend such unfathomable intellect.
The Sith and the Jedi are similar in almost every way.
Yep, there it is. That's the truth bomb. This is going to rock his little world.
The Jedi are selfless. They only care about others.
Oh. My sweet summer child, you know that's not true. You saw firsthand as a slave on Tatooine. The Jedi only care about their dogma, their interests, and the goals for the galaxy and what they want to do. They care about no one. They just palm it all off as benevolence. This is why the Force sent Anakin. To destroy the Jedi, because only the Sith can be balanced. Because only the Sith have the ability to use their passion, power, for things like empathy and compassion. Something that the Jedi would shy away from because fear, dark side, and not to a healthier society where people actually care about each other because everyone understands the pain and the suffering that each individual person is going through and therefore uses the pain to understand other people's pain so we can all be empathetic people. But anyway, now the field is sown. There is only one last nail in the coffin to bring him over to you. Tell him about Darth Plagueis the Wise.
He could even keep the ones he cared about from dying.
He could actually save people from death.
It's just not fair, is it? How could someone be so monstrously naive? You almost feel bad, like this is just, oh, it's pathetic. Okay, almost, but not quite.
Is it possible to learn this power?
Not from a Jedi.
But with that, it's time for the final act of this little saga. And you start with a droid attack on the Wookiees, because you know the Jedi won't care about that. And with that out of the way, you get a report from Anakin a little while later. Obi-Wan just dropped in to say hi to General Grievous.
Hello there.
And you throw in a little bit of FUD. FUD is the key to his heart.
Don't you wonder why they won't make you a Jedi Master?
I wish I knew.
See, if the Jedi actually cultivated him, encouraged him, and made him feel good about his emotions, he probably would have been the greatest Jedi ever. But the only attachment the Jedi have is to fear of the dark side and lack of control of the Force.
I know there are things about the Force that they're not telling me.
They don't trust you, Anakin.
Yep, there he is. He's curious now. He's thirsty for the power.
Let me help you to know the subtleties of the Force.
It's time. The big dramatic reveal. He's ready. He's weak. He's malleable. His desire to be powerful now is just prime for you to take him. Just jangle those little keys and he'll come running.
Not just the dogmatic, narrow view of the Jedi.
See, you see the bigger picture, and as a connoisseur of the Force, you do want more balance. You want a world where the Force is not constrained by dogma and religion, but allowed to flourish and flow naturally, without limits, but also under your control entirely, because, you know, everything has to be under your control.
Only through me will be able to save your wife from certain death.
Okay, maybe you overextended a little bit, but this is natural. This is resistance. This is actually a good thing because you have to break him. You have to win. You have to win his heart. He'll be even more in your court if you do this. If he didn't have convictions, well, the things that he believed in wouldn't actually be very good to a Sith. He'd flip-flop too much, have regrets, and then you'd have to kill him. You need him to believe wholeheartedly in you and the dark side. There is no room for grey anymore, or at least in Anakin. He doesn't have the ability to think in nuance.
Are you going to kill me?
I would certainly like to.
But then he says he's going to turn you in, which is, honestly, it's perfect. You don't even fight because you already know he's not going to follow through with it. But also, it makes you seem just, that you could turn yourself in the face of a threat. And when he's ready, he'll be so drunk on your allure of power.
In the name of the Galactic Senate of the Republic, you're under arrest, Chancellor.
You know, so like 5 minutes later, old fucking Windu shows up and is ready to throw hands with you. So he did it. He did turn you. Wow. Okay, Anakin, you fucking asshole. So it's time for your ultimate ability. Like, these are Jedi. You cut them down like it's nothing. But Windu, he's a beast. It's like the 1% of the Jedi are actually worth something, and then all the rest are just, well, they're nothing. Just bantha fodder. And Mace Windu kind of dismantles you. But that is also because you sensed Anakin coming. You saw the vision. You had the play in your head. This is the moment. This is your moment. And you decide it is time to whip out your ace in the hole. The shot collar. Unfortunately, though, it backfires. It turns you into ice cream. But the weaker you look, the more that you engage in Anakin's sympathies. He will be yours forever. Huh, well that was easy. Mace Windu is now maced through the window. And that is sunk cost in a nutshell. You might look like a fucking testicle. You might talk like Grievous on a good day. But now you have won Anakin over. He's Darth Vader. He's yours. It's worth it. Besides, you could have a skin graft. Oh no, probably not. You'd have to have your butt on your face. Yeah.
A powerful Sith you will become.
So now it's time for his lion moment. If he thought that Padme was going to drop her panties quickly before, this time it's just going to be 10 times better, right? There's no way she was attracted to a vulnerable man. No, that would be crazy. It was clearly just being attracted to a man exercising his power over an ethnic group. And you have the plan set. All you have to do is usurp your power, while Anakin goes and claims his pride. And you get like 99% of the Jedi. Sadly, you did not get Yoda or Obi-Wan, but that's okay. You can always hunt them down later.
And the remaining Jedi will be hunted down.
Beautiful. You are now the ruler of an empire, just like Queen Victoria. You only ever cared about the title. Supreme Chancellor? Ugh. King? Ugh. But Emperor? Lord of the Sith? Oh, that's prestige right there.
The Separatists have been taking care of my master.
It's just so easy for you. Why is it so easy? All these pieces moving together in perfect harmony. The Force is, yes, the Force is willing this, isn't it? Did the Force want to be dead and the Sith ruling the world? Is that what it wanted? It wanted the world to be forever balanced? Because it will never be limited or controlled by dogmatic hypocrites and instead ruled by you and its embodiment of the Force, the way nature intended. What you did not expect was Yoda coming in for a cheeky 1v1. At least he calls you Emperor now. That's nice of him. It's always good when people remember the honorifics, you know? Especially someone like Yoda. He's such a nice guy. It's a shame you have to kill him. But he's actually like a beast. He's just annoying. Like, trying to fight someone who is so small and just jumps around like a flea. How? How do you fight this? He even has so much strength. How does he have strength? He's like 3 feet tall. He's not even sweating. It's not fair. But you do eventually get the upper hand, but unfortunately he actually gets away. So now you have to reconcile the fact that probably the only creature in the galaxy who can fight you in a 1v1 that you also cannot manipulate is gone. Now, this can only be described as a big fucking problem that you will never address ever again. But not as big of a problem as Anakin making waves in the Force, and this is bad. This is very bad. And you arrived too late. Bro is literally cooked. But luckily, you paid some attention on some Saturday morning cartoons and their subsequent live-action spin-offs.
Gentlemen, we can rebuild him.
You do feel bad, though, because in a weird way, you love Anakin like a son. He's the key to your future, and he is one day going to kill you and murder you and overthrow you. But that's okay. That's just Sith life. Doesn't mean you can't appreciate the now and cherish the memories of ruling the galaxy like a father and son. Well, at least the mask looks badass. My lord, yes. It appears that we have a problem. Great. What is it? It appears that there's an exhaust vent that leads directly down into the core of the Death Star. What? What? Yes, my lord. And it appears that if 1 or 2 bullets hit it, it could blow up the entire thing. How big is this hole? My lord, it appears to be about 2 meters. 2 meters? Oh, don't worry about it then. It's so small. That's like shooting womp rats. No one in the galaxy ain't that good. What's the worst that could happen? So, it is time for that announcement. And honestly, I cannot believe that with a green screen and this little microphone, I would get to where I am today. To be honest, I didn't even think I'd get 10,000 subscribers, let alone 100,000. And it's still climbing. This last year has been one of the most life-changing years of my life. And to put that in perspective, I left the UK 10 years ago and I've lived abroad and traveled all of that time. I've lived in multiple countries, and I would say that this is still the most life-changing one. But that's mostly because for the first time in my life, I did something that reached a wider community, a much wider community than I ever even dreamed possible. I never wanted to be a YouTuber, just so we're clear, but here I am. I don't even want to do anything on cameras. I hate cameras. I hate cameras. Either way, other people like what I've done, and that's awesome. But unfortunately, it's time for that to change. Now, this isn't me saying I'm going to stop the Perspective series, but I'm just going to scale it back. I'm going to reduce it to once or twice per month rather than every week. And this is because, well, it's time for me to grow the fuck up and stand on my own 2 feet. This channel, this content was inspired by Mugiwara no Goofy. You know, it's his idea. I don't know if it's his idea, but it's who I was inspired from. I think it's wrong for me to continue. It was never my plan to do this forever. It was always going to be 10 videos, and now it's been like 60 or 70. No, enough is enough. But seriously, like, if you haven't already, go and check out Mugiwara no Goofy, because, well, to me, he's the GOAT. You know, his content is just amazing, and please go and give him some love, because, you know, without him, there is no me, and he deserves all the praise, you know? What I'm trying to say is the big 25 is over, and I'm now rapidly approaching my mid-30s. Yes. Bet you didn't see that one coming. I'm officially almost granddad status by internet standards. And I want to do things that are my ideas and that I think about, because believe it or not, I think I have pretty good, unique ideas, and I want to explore them. Because, unfortunately, I'm going to say this now, humor is not my strength. I'm not funny. Why are we here? It doesn't make any sense, but I'm still appreciative nonetheless. But yeah, just scaling back, new videos coming out. Long-time subscribers will know that I have said this a few times in the past, but I also said that I'd get an editor, and that took me like 8 months, so yeah, we're pretty on track for how my brain works. But doing this video is going to force me to change. Either way, thank you for your support, thank you for being here, and thank you especially to all of the people that go onto my videos and like and comment every single time. Like, I always recognize the same faces when I'm going through the comments, and it just makes me happy to know that there are people that come back regularly, you know? That to me is more special, but I appreciate each and every one of you, especially those who have decided to click subscribe for me. It's crazy where we're at, but yeah. But there will be a 200,000 subscriber goal eventually. I'm just going to figure that one out. We're not going to hit that one for a little while anyway, so But also, thank you to my members, like Good Old Granite and Alexander Colburn. Thank you guys, your support this year has been incredible. And of course, Lavender, Zyla, Takaru, Toast the Bread, and Alan, especially Alan. Alan's been here since the TFT days. He was the guy who first commented on my first ever TFT stream, and he's been here ever since, supporting me, and Pyobs as well, but you guys don't know Pyobs. But yeah, thank you, and thank you. Have a great day, and have a great life.